Mike Morosi is the President and CEO of Contractors 2020, Multimedia Advertising Services, LLC, and is a QSC industry partner. They do marketing work for plumbing, HVAC, and electrical contractors over 40 states and Canada. Mike is well known as an author and teacher of best business practices. Contractor 2020 does profit consulting, advertising agency work, direct mail and internet design and production. They are the largest company of its type serving independent contractors. Mike and his staff are proud to be associated with the largest and most respected contractor group in the nation as a PHCC QSC industry partner and as a Service Roundtable consultant partner.
We first started using Mike, I think it was, actually it was right before the last power meeting. And we had an interesting thing, and those that know me know that over the years I've talked about how we've grown our sales and everything. And really starting about the end of last year, something amazing happened. People stopped calling. They just dropped right off. And we had a lot of work backed up, like I'm sure a lot of you do. And over a course of a month or so, we burned through all of that. And then one day there was just nothing. Maybe I think I call it the week we had to reset a toilet. When you have 8 guys in the field and you have one toilet to reset. And I know I had talked to Doug a little bit on what he had done with Mike, so I called him up, and Mike actually interviewed me the first time. We talked and put together a program, and I think I was, and correct me if I'm wrong, I was pushing a little bit because the interview's fine and everything. I know you have to get your information, but let's do something. Let's get some work. And sure enough, I think within a week we had stuff out there, which I found was pretty amazing turnaround. And the calls came in. There were weeks there where I'd say 75 to 80% of our calls were from Mike's program, the postcards. I will say, and I don't want to embarrass you, Mike, and I had my name on the list that went out because I wanted to see what the postcards looked like. And when I got the first one, the first week, I said, "Oh my God!" And that was unlike anything I'd ever seen, and probably a bad way. But I tell you, people for some reason call, and it's been incredible. I haven't checked with Sherry last week, but I think in 3 months we're up to almost $200,000 in sales I can track right from the postcards. And there are days when that's all we have is the postcard work. Now, in all honesty, we get a few tire kickers and some people that just are not our customers. But when you have no work, nothing, I mean, I'm glad just to send my guys out. We waived our minimum fee, whatever you want to call it. I just want to get them in front of people because I know they can sell. And sometimes the sales are no, and that's fine. But it's me. In all honesty, I can't really. I realize I shouldn't say that. They went over that yesterday, but don't say. But in all honesty, I don't know where we would be if I didn't start the program with Mike. And I was fortunate enough to have saved some money so I can invest in that, and it's been a huge thing for our company. And I think is it okay if I say what the odds were?
Go ahead.
Yeah, he told me up front, he said there's an 80% chance you'll make money off of this stuff, 10% chance you'll more or less break even, and a 10% chance it won't work. You'll lose money. And I said, those are the best odds I've ever had. No one's ever given me odds like that, and it's worked for us, thank goodness. It's really made a difference, and I owe Mike a lot. And it's even, I don't want to go on, but even my dad, typically the marketing stuff is, you wave to people when they drive by. That's my dad's idea of marketing, and he's been impressed. He said, "Wow, that stuff's really working," and where are all these new customers coming from? And the last thing I'll say is the record for new customers in one day was 11. Remember, 8 techs, one Monday when we had very little work, we had 8 new customers call, and we booked all those calls. Some of them were, people we don't want to work for, but that was fine. It still got my guys out in front of people, and I think that day that was all the money we got from the postcards and new customers. And if anyone has any questions, unless we have another night like last night, I'll be here all day.
We employ a marketing agency, but in our hometown. But
they can't do everything, and they admit that. And one of the items that we were trying to fill was how do we do a better job of direct mailing. And I met with Mike, and we discussed what we could possibly do. Like Dave, we went through an interview process. Mike does his homework, and once we figured out what would be a plan for our company, we executed it. And like Dave, I was amazed because, you know, my marketing company at home had a very, very polished card that we sent out that absolutely bombed. Mike has tested his stuff. He knows what works and he knows what doesn't work. So I went with him on it. Let's use his expert judgment. It worked, and it's working today. And now it's nearly 2 years later, and we still get cards from the first month that we ever send them out. This thing just keeps feeding itself, and that's financially, that was even the better part of it. The returns were so good on the initial mailing that all I've been doing ever since that is just taking that first initial investment that I made, and I just keep putting it back in. I don't keep taking money out of my pocket to do this. It's paying for itself. So if you have any ideas that you think that you need help, you need something that's going to work, you know, this is what our industry partners are for. And meeting Mike and hearing what he had to do and then watching him put it to work, it's absolutely fascinating. It's fantastic. And it has put a bunch of money in our company. And I appreciate that very much.
You recently ran a series of radio commercials for Rudd Plumbing. How is that advertising working out for you?
We've run radio ads in the past with not a lot of success, so our opinion of radio advertising was not real good. Since Mike has taken over our advertising, we found out that if you run the correct ad at the right time to the right person, that they will work.
How soon after you began running those commercials did you start getting results from the ads?
The radio ad started on a Monday morning at 6:15. By 7:15, we had already received 2 calls mentioning the radio ad.
What type of feedback did you get from those radio ads, from your staff and from the public as well?
Before we run the ads went live. We played the ads for our staff and employees. They were really impressed at how professional they sounded. We get a lot of feedback from our customers that call in or mention the ad. I'm getting a lot of feedback from people around town that has heard the ads and talk about how professional they sound.
Now, you've also been running some television commercials. How are they working for you?
The television commercials are working great. We're getting a lot of calls coming in that are mentioning the television commercial. When we told our employees that we were going to do a television commercial, they were really excited, wanted to know who was going to be in the commercial. We ended up with my brother, our CSR, and a technician in the commercial, and it turned out really well.
How long did it take for you to start getting results from the TV ads?
Our first TV commercial run at 6:30 on a Monday morning. By 7:15, we had already received 2 calls mentioning the TV commercial.
Now, this advertising was recommended by Contractor 2020. Overall, would you recommend this company?
Well, we've been in business for 88 years, and until about 7 years ago, we were strictly commercial. We did strictly commercial work. In 2001, we decided we wanted to get into the residential market more and have a residential service. This has been a real struggle. We tried some different things and nothing worked. We just couldn't grow the business as quick as we wanted to. Then I talked to Mike Morosi with Contractors 2020, and he suggested that we let him run a survey to see what the problem was. When we got the survey back, we found out that 94% of our existing customers highly recommended us and would use us again. But 70% of the general public didn't even know we did residential service. So what Mike suggested was that we start running radio and TV ads to give us some name recognition. Now, since we started running the radio and TV ads, before we were running the radio and TV ads, we were doing getting 10 to 12 calls a day. We are now, for the last 2 months, averaging 20 to 30 calls a day. We've added 2 service trucks on, and finally, with Mike's advertising campaign, I can finally see that we're going to maybe reach our goals. And I would highly recommend him to anybody that had a service business and wanted to grow that service business. But all I can say is just be prepared for the business he's going to bring in.